No, we went for 2 points because of two reasons. I think that you ought to be able to get 50% of them, which gives you the exact same number of points, but every once in a while you do mix an extra point. So if you make 50% of your 2-point conversions, you score exactly the same number of points. At the same time, you're improving your ability to make plays on fourth down. It's just like a fourth down situation, so you're getting extra practice time for when you want to go forward on fourth down.
Had you guys been able to score at the end, a touchdown,
we'd have kicked that extra point. It would have put it within 2 points, so we could have maybe won the game at the end with a field goal, yes.
And also at that point, had you been able to make the two first one-pointers, kicked the extra points, it would have been tied versus you being down by 2. I mean, ultimately, it could have been a decision to go for 2 on those that cost you the game.
Yeah.
And that's something because that's what you're going to do now, that's okay?
That's what we decided the game plan was for tonight, yes. That doesn't mean we're going to do that every week, but it certainly was a game plan tonight. We don't change our whole defense just because something doesn't work.
And then, Rocky, so does that then go to the not going for the field goal down there at the last to put you within?
Did you look at our field goal percentage last year? And I don't think we have any better kickers than we did last year. So if we only make 40% of the field goals, you have just as much chance of making it on fourth down.
A lot of pressure on Katz. How much was that offensive line play? How much of it was coverage, do you think?
Well, I thought most of the time he had significant time to find an open receiver, so maybe there wasn't any open receivers. I don't know. I thought he did a nice job of scrambling, and I thought he did a nice job of picking up some first downs when we needed it. He made a couple really nice throws too. Now, so I don't know. I mean, I watched it too. Watched it from the sidelines. I don't know if it was poor offensive line play or he was just holding the ball too long that he had to run out of it.
What did you think of the Lockett fumble? Do you think that was a fumble?
I don't know. I mean, you don't really get to see the replay. You do up in the box. The guys in the box get to watch it on TV 3 or 4 times, but on the sidelines you only get to see it once. Sometimes you don't get to see it at all. I have no idea. I'm sure the officials did the best they could. I'm sure they called it. I mean, I thought the officials did a nice job. Because if you have packed 12 officials and you think they're going to hometown you, they sure didn't, because the push-off was purely a push-off, and it was interference. Well, I've seen that not called several times in games. And there were some other things they called that were truly penalties, but I've seen some crews not call that when they were in this environment. So I thought the officials did a nice job.
And then on the very next possession, Katz fumbled it and Washington recovered again. How big of a momentum swing was that with the back-to-back fumble recoveries back?
Well, I thought that if I'm right now, tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm having a hard time remembering exactly how the game went. So tell me if I'm wrong. I thought the defense went in there and got the ball right back. So obviously it wasn't really a huge emotional shift. Just like going for fourth down, when you don't get it, it's not a huge emotional shift for the defense if they're ready to take on the challenge.
Being that you were down 14-0, and suddenly the fourth quarter you were driving to get within a couple points. What do you think of your team, your young team's first performance?
I thought we showed some toughness in the second half. I thought that a team that's not very mentally tough would have given up, and the score could have got bad. I was very disappointed in the turnovers in the first half, and I was very disappointed in the way the defense played. For an experienced group in the secondary and that linebacker, we made a lot of mental errors, and we're not playing very aggressive. In the second half, we didn't make as many mental errors, and we were a heck of a lot more aggressive, and you can see a total difference in what their offense could and couldn't do the second half.
How much was the way they struggled, though, a result of how well Price played, and he's obviously a playmaker?
I guess I don't quite understand the question.
Well, he seems to be able to make a lot of plays.
Oh, he's a really good football player.
Yeah.
So you anticipate really good football players making plays. But I didn't think he was near as effective the second half when our defense actually did what their assignments were and actually played a little more aggressively. He's still a great player, but he wasn't quite as good the second half. So I think a lot of it has to do with how poorly we played on defense the first half.
Some coaches might take the tack of trying to build a player up that they might not necessarily in the hard believe in? You're being pretty blunt about your lack of faith in your kickers. You said you don't think they're much better than last year.
No, I'm just going on how they did in practice. I mean, they didn't kick any higher percentage in practice than our kicker did last year. So the assumption going in is that you've got the same kind of kickers. And so the percentage of their made field goals has a lot to do with whether you kick field goals or not.
Rocky,
just like we won't play a second team guy if he can't do the job. It's no different. People are trying to make kickers different than regular players. There's no difference.
Rocky, bringing in Dingwall to be kind of the running quarterback, and then the Cats pooch punt, and also the busy sideline play. It seems like you're really opening up the offensive playbook a lot more this season than last season. Can you talk about those kind of gimmick plays?
Well, first of all, a quick kick is not a gimmick play. The one down the sidelines is kind of a gimmick play, yes. And I thought our offense executed it very well. I guess I haven't explained this very well. I think we're going to be in a lot of close football games. So you have to do things out of the ordinary to give your team a chance to win close football games. Now, you can sit back and lay back in your chair and play it just like by the book and hope you win, or you can go try to win the dang game. We're going to go try to win the dang game. We're not going to sit there and hope that we hang in there till the end. I mean, we were trying to win the game today. If we'd have lost by 40, I would have still tried to win the game.